Mr. Prime Minister, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are a big proponent of spreading entrepreneurship in the developing world as a means of economic empowerment. But the region where we come from, Indian subcontinent, has many challenges. How do you think we can take the spirit of entrepreneurship and implant in a region like Indian subcontinent?
I think the spirit of entrepreneurship recognizes no income levels, no borders, it's a way of thinking. And that is why in the poorest of the poor regions of South Asia, if you get the entrepreneurial spirit going, which is a desire to excel, to do your best, to achieve more, to improve your standard of living, everybody benefits. If you see programs in Bangladesh, for example, for microcredit, they are changing the lives of the people. And in a very small way, this has had a major impact in giving people income, small loans, and especially the women are borrowing in poor families to improve their income levels. So my view is that entrepreneurship can manifest itself in many forms. Once you change your way of thinking and you can think out of the box and open your mind up, you can generate income in many different ways. Income means prosperity. Income means less hunger or no hunger. Income means a better future for you and your children. So entrepreneurship can be a driver for change. And how we implement it can vary from country to country. But this spirit is meant for the people, especially the lower income people. Any government, any private enterprise, any civil society, nobody's immune from thinking big, thinking out of the box, and changing their future with their own efforts.
You know, the challenges are two-pronged in our culture. One is the government and their resources, which restrict in many sense. In many sense, they don't restrict. But the other challenge is also the people who are not, if I may, entrepreneurship savvy. Because we are used to trading community, borrowing loans from banks. But entrepreneurship is one step beyond that. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think once this concept is agreed to and accepted by everybody, we can then bring people up the curve. We can train them. We can have, in the remotest of the regions, you have a village, somebody in that village can transfer the knowledge to everybody. That look, in our spare time, if there are, say, 10 women in the village, if we sew and come up with some handicrafts which can be sold, and whatever you do, you'll increase your income. One thing will lead to the other. Somebody will then buy it, make a profit there. Somebody will sell it, make a profit there. So I think irrespective of where you are, this can be a way of thinking which has to be inculcated. You can use different means to do that. Village schools, village gatherings, where there is media available through the media. Now radio and TV is everywhere, so we can use that as a medium. Basically, the message to people has to be that there is opportunity out there. Find a way to see it. And once you see it, then try to achieve that objective. So if you're in a village where you are there's no income or low income, you take a facility from a microcredit institution and buy 12 chicken. You get eggs, you get the chicken, you generate income, and then the family feeds better or feels better. So I think there is no reason why even the remotest areas of the world, people will recognize the fact that a better life can be achieved through effort, through using the entrepreneurial approach.
That's reaching the lowest denominator. The Grameen Bank is a very good example.
Absolutely.
But if you look at Silicon Valley, which is where entrepreneurship encouraged, we have the whole ecosystem here. We have access to venture capital, to mentoring, and failure is regarded as the next stepping stone for the venture. This is not about geography or the infrastructure. It's about the mindset.
Correct.
So people talk about implanting or taking Silicon Valley and doing it in Lahore or Bangalore.
Yeah.
So I wanted your thoughts. Do you think it's possible within this generation to move this thought process or this value system?
I think this thought process is very exportable. It is already happening. Obviously, the infrastructure and the environment is not as developed as it is here. But it's happening. The financial institutions are very active in Lahore and Bangalore because they are providing venture capital, they are providing credits, they are doing all these things so that people can improve and become value-added performers. Secondly, there is no, if the local financial institutions and financial sector doesn't do it, money will cross borders now. So if somebody in Silicon Valley sees an opportunity in Bangalore, they will find a way to tap it, because this market is very impressive, thriving, but it has its limitations too. And there's enough liquidity in the world. If you look at the largest sources of international liquidity, they are now in the Middle East, which is very close to South Asia. So Middle East money can go and fund the Lahores and Bangalores and Hyderabad's of the world to develop their potential even more. I think you must agree that Rome was not built in a day. Even here, when this whole process started, it took a while. Now all the institutions, after getting successful, are feeling good. And they have the knowledge and the resources to go global. They will go wherever there's opportunity. And I think the Lahore and Hyderabad and Bangalore examples you gave are exactly where the opportunity is.
You know, India has taken many strides in terms of replicating the success of Silicon Valley. I'm sure Pakistan has in many ways. But you know, when entrepreneurs go from here, so I have a very great friend, Zulki Khan. He runs a great company here, a thorough gentleman, a great friend of mine from Karachi. But people like him, when they go, they get very disappointed, disheartened because of the processes that are becoming blockades for them.
Yeah.
Being a government man.
Well, we have deregulated, as I mentioned earlier. Deregulation has to be the way to go. Naturally, when you leave one country and go to the other, you should not expect that you will transplant a thinking process which happens here in some other country too. Every country has their own local needs, a way of doing business. But in those countries too, there are successful entrepreneurs. A successful global entrepreneur who crosses a border to go to some other country must have the mindset to change their thinking, to adapt to the local scene, rather than keep comparing to what they left behind. That is the academic. What you leave here is unique to this country. What you see there is unique to that country. Don't transplant one on the other, but allow both to develop at their own pace.
You know, TiE is the biggest enabler of entrepreneurship throughout the world.
Yeah.
TiEcon, we call it the world's largest conference for entrepreneurs.
Correct.
It's built by 400 plus volunteers come together. It's a great energy, excitement. Plus we have legends have come together to give back to the community in a very solid way. These are successes who are not egotistic or not ostentatious. We're genuinely willing to give back, which is a very different compared to our culture.
Correct.
Because we adapt to success very soon. You have had experience with TiE. We have 3 chapters in Pakistan.
Yes.
What has been your experience?
I think TiE is really is a great example of networking, of helping each other and building bridges across cultures, borders and disciplines. I have attended many of their events as Prime Minister, as Finance Minister, now as a private citizen. And I would say that this is an excellent example of people with a similar background coming together, and even if they have a different background, for the greater good of humanity and greater good of each other. Today in these conferences, the most attractive element is networking with other people. In fact, the whole Silicon Valley culture is one of informality and networking. That is the success. They are nimble, they adjust, they change, they adapt, and it's less formal and open. And that is really what TiE is all about. So I think this culture transcends this organization, and with the chapters coming up now in so many countries and so many cities, we should feel proud of what TiE has achieved, and I know it'll achieve even more.
My final question in 2 parts. What are the 3 essential ingredients you think that are required for entrepreneurship that could be replicated anywhere in the world?
Yes.
And having achieved success as entrepreneurs, what do you think success should really mean to people?
I think the key elements of a successful entrepreneurial effort is thinking out of the box, not be afraid of new ideas, taking risk, measured risk, but taking risk, and then striving for excellence, because excellence is what gets you your full potential. So if we can do that, and there are many more, but I've just highlighted 3, that if we follow these, I think you will see the entrepreneur doing well, thinking out of the box, challenging the status quo, coming up with new ways of doing the same thing, analyzing needs, analyzing future needs, anticipating. All this makes a successful entrepreneur. Looking in the rearview mirror only looking at the past, important to learn from history, but will not get you there. And at the end, the single most important attribute has to be hard work. There are no shortcuts in life. You have to work hard, you have to work diligently, you have to have the discipline to work, and results will come.
With that, thank you very much for the opportunity. Appreciate
Pleasure.
that much.
Thank you.